What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. You already know, Norris here. Another episode where I'm going over the most recent hip-hop albums of 2023-2024. Today we're gonna do the new album by Conway the Machine, Slant Killah, Buffalo, New York rapper Conway the Machine, mostly known for his work with Benny the Butcher and Westside Gunn. Westside Gunn is actually half brothers with Conway the Machine. He's cousins with Benny the Butcher. That's why you see them together on a lot of tracks and performances. They're part of the same crew. He has that old school East Coast style flow where he's talking about a lot of street life, hustle life, a lot of stuff that he's gone through, the type of person to be in and out of jail growing up before he started his rap career, and slowly started to work on his rap career, trying to escape the street life. He's gone through a lot in his past. Apparently he was shot multiple times. It affected the way his brain works. The shooting was supposed to make him completely paralyzed. The bullet wounds only affected his mouth. His face is permanently slanted in a way where one part of his face is fully upwards and the other one's down, so he has a slant to his face. It's the inspiration for the album cover. It has a happy face, the mouth is slanted. That incident where he got shot, it partially paralyzed his face, forcing his face to make a slant. That's why in a lot of pictures you'll see his face slanted in a way, as if he's purposely doing it, which is pretty crazy. I'm about to go over his most recent album, Slant Killah. I'm gonna go over a few of the songs. I'm gonna play 2 to 4 songs so that you guys have an understanding of how this sounds. 5 seconds of those songs. I'll start talking about it. I'm gonna go over the album based off of how it sounds, how good the beats are, give you guys my viewpoints about the whole album and how I feel about it, a rating at the end of the video. Before we jump right into this one and start playing out the songs, look out for the new track Vanta Black that's out on all platforms, on my YouTube channel, Spotify, SoundCloud, everywhere where I post my music. The next one I'm dropping, this one's called Abracadabra. This song is set for September 14th, and I got a mixtape I'm dropping for October 4th. Hashtag INDICA. It's a 15-track mixtape set for October 4th, 3 weeks from now, so make sure you guys check that mixtape out. Conway the Machine, Slant Killah. I'm gonna play about 4 songs off the album, just a snippet of it, 5 seconds of each song. I'm gonna start breaking this one down, man. So this is all off of SoundCloud. I'm playing all the songs off of SoundCloud. The first song I'll play, this one's called Dasani.
She showing pussy, she ready to throw it. 50 in singles and I'm about to throw it. I got my young nigga on point with the blow it. Told her I'm rich, I'ma show her. I got a plug.
This one's called Ninja Man, featuring Swiss Beats.
I had to shake them off, then became a boss. Songs with Wayne and Ross when I did business with Shady and Paul. Now my name ringing bells where you cross.
This one's called Milano Nights, Part 1.
Python on the pockets and cobra skin on the moccasins. See the world through my lens is total Oculus. VOA notifications, that's more dope.
This one is Raw, featuring Tech 9. So this last track I'll play, this one's called Vertino, featuring Joey Badass.
They following my thing, they gotta acknowledge me as king, nigga. Nah, this is God level, Ferrari yellow, binary switch, grinding with the
Slant Killah, new album by Conway the Machine. A few things I gotta say about this one, man. It's a good album for a few reasons. Kind of reminds me of Benny the Butcher. I mean, it is his cousin that he grew up with. They're from the same area and they grew up with each other, so they're gonna rap the same way for the most part and maybe be slightly different. He got a bunch of different producers to work on this one, some legendary. It's like RZA and Kanye West put together. That's what the beats remind me of. Sample and loop driven beats that would be used on a lot of old school East Coast sounding tracks that you'd hear from Jadakiss and the Diplomats like Joel Santana, Cameron. You can really hear the New York sound in the beats. and in the raps, but just talking about the production. East Coast, New York, a lot of loop driven beats that you would hear from like Wu-Tang Clan, Mobb Deep, Jadakiss too, Deluxe. The beats kind of have that style going on throughout the album, very consistent with that sound too. But like, I'm not surprised because I already knew what type of rapper Conway the Machine was before hearing this album, and I heard a little bit of his sound before. I'm not too surprised by the style of production that he uses on this album to bring the best out of what he does. Mafiosa style flow, simple but complex looping beats. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the beats kind of remind me of DJ Premier too. Conway the Machine, he uses a style that's pretty simple. That simple delivery that gets used in a lot of like battle rapping. Sounds like he was a battle rapper before because his style is like battle rap punchlines most of the time. The things that he's actually saying in the punchlines are gems. So like, he'll give a lot of street knowledge when he's rapping. He'll talk about a lot of things that he actually physically seen in his lifetime in the past that he can maybe use in his lines to offer advice to other rappers and other like street dudes on how to like carry themselves through the streets. So he kind of gives off that type of vibe. Not a whole lot of punchlines where he's using a lot of metaphors and similes and using a lot of wordplay. He doesn't use a lot of wordplay. I mean, he does, but it's not like heavy in this album. It's a lot more quotable lines that are memorable in a way where they can sort of teach you something. They act as like a gem that you can remember for a long time. It's something that you would remember to help yourself in like a situation that maybe he's gone through and he's overcome. As I was saying earlier, he was a type of person to be in and out of jail like in his 20s and his teenage life. So a lot of his lines have to do with taking a lot of that street knowledge and turning it to positivity in terms of like warning the listener like, yo, you don't want to do this and you don't want to do that. It's much better to live like this and that. You kind of get that off of his lines more so than him coming up with strong metaphors and similes in like a battle punchline form of rapping. I think he did a good job at giving gems rather than just giving a fun punchline for the listener to like listen to. All throughout the album, it's pretty consistent with that too. He like stays that rapper all throughout the album, because I've seen like in the past, there's a lot of rappers, they'll make their album and it's like they're a different person on each track. And that's not the worst thing to do. If you're creative with it, it's a little bit of a different thing. Conway, he's like being like very real with who he is as a person when he does what he does. For sure, respect him for that. He's being Conway the Machine on every single song, and you can hear it in the style and his flow and his beat selection when you're listening to the music. So he has a very bar to bar style. Like I said, East Coast mafiosa style rap. Every line is a line, and the way he would rhyme every word that he puts down, he does it in a very clever way, while at the same time it stays smooth throughout the chorus of the beat, which is not easy to do, but he makes it easy. He makes it sound easy. That's a talent within itself. So on this album, with the beats and his flow, they go with like a slower pace on most of the songs, which I like. That part reminds me of DJ Premier a whole lot, going with like a simple looping style beat. The beats per minute is a little bit slower so that he gets his flow off a little bit cleaner with a slower pace beat, which is a technique used with a lot of punchline battle style rappers. But anytime you hear like a battle or like a freestyle on like a radio station on the radar, the rapper comes on and they're giving you like a freestyle. Most cases, the beat that they're giving the rapper is like a slower pace beat, so it allows them to like get their freestyle off better, unless it's like a different type of rapper and they prefer like a faster beat, because a lot of new school rappers will use faster pace beats, so that's a little different. If you're gonna give a beat to a guy like Cassidy and he's gonna freestyle over it, he'd probably prefer like a slower pace beat so that you can really hear the punchlines that he's dropping on the beat. It's a slower beats per minute. The main sample is being looped and everything is pretty simple, but it's made purposely like that, so the verse and the punchlines within the verse can be more complex. It's like more of the focus rather than the beats. The album, I feel like it's designed in a way where the lyrics are more of the focus and the beats kind of take a step back. Most rap albums nowadays, the instrumentals are the highlight of the album. The raps sort of take a step back. The raps are used more as like an instrument, a part of the beat. On this album, it's like vice versa, if that makes sense. The album's more focused on Conway's raps, more so the beats. But the beats were done very well on this one, man. I actually like the beats. More of an old school style to them. Mafiosa, that's like the best way to explain this style of beats with Conway's raps. So I think the album gets better towards the end. It doesn't start off slow, but it definitely gets better towards the end. I think he did a good job picking out the features for this album. They're perfect for the style that he uses. Guys like Method Man, Ab-Soul, Key Glock. Also an all-star cast with the producers. So we just got guys like Swiss Beats, Cool and Dre, The Alchemist, Conductor Williams. It's like one of those albums where he's got like an all-star cast of features and producers. The producers came together. They thought it'd be a good idea to design the album in a way where it fits perfect for what Conway the Machine is really good at, instead of just trying to outdo each other. Because I feel like in a lot of albums, when the artist is working with numerous producers, not just one, maybe like 4 or 5 producers, most cases the producers are trying to outdo each other, sort of the way you would see it with features where everyone's trying to out rap each other. But I think with this one, there's a little more chemistry between the producers and the features on the album, where everyone is sort of working together to make the album as good as possible based off of Conway the Machine's style and like what he's like really good at. A lot of the beats were made in that way, and a lot of the features recorded their verses in that way also. A lot of pass the mic moments where they got 3 or 4 rappers on the same beat passing the microphone, you know what I mean? Sort of like Wu-Tang style, Beastie Boys style, which is very cool, you know what I mean? A whole lot of chemistry shown in those songs to make the album more of an album rather than an album where everyone's just trying to outdo each other and outshine on each other. There is more of like a chemistry thing going on between all of the features and producers on this album, which is like another cool thing about it. It makes the album sound more of an album, even though he uses a lot of battle rap style verses to write his songs on this one. I thought he did a good job at taking all of that stuff that he knows, a lot of that street knowledge. I think he did a good job at taking that, translating it into his music in a way where you're listening to it, but it doesn't make you want to mimic it, in a way where you learn more off of the negative that comes from it rather than looking at it, thinking it's cool and trying to mimic it. Even if you're not a street person, you could just be like a regular person with a regular job that likes hip-hop music maybe, and you can learn off of a lot of what he's saying, even though he's talking a lot of street stuff. I think it's just how you take what he's saying at the end of the day, how smart you are when you're listening to his lyrics. You're not just listening to him in a stupid way. You have like a good understanding of how some rap songs work, and you know, you translate what he's saying in the right way. He doesn't do the best with that all throughout the album. Some songs sound pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, not the best list of beats I've ever heard. Some of them get a little too simple. It's a strong beat list for what Conway is good at. It's a street rapper that's been through it, everything that this guy has gone through in his life. You're not really expecting him to be like a super musician and try sounds that you would sort of hear from like Kanye West, or you know what I mean? He's not gonna go over the top, try some like crazy style and go super experimental, and you know, could have came up with different styles of flows out of different styles of production, you know what I mean? The fact that he's getting that same East Coast battle rap style beats all throughout the album, it's gonna make him rap that same way. I think that could have improved the album. He could have talked about other things outside of like street stuff. He could have came up with different style of songs in terms of like subject matter. So so that's another thing. His flow is pretty generic for the most part. After saying all that, I'm giving this album an 8.3 out of 10. Just for all of the negatives that I said about the album, I think if he did something different with all of that, it would have improved the rating and the album as a whole. 8.3, good concept, I think, but definitely room for improvement for sure. Another solid album. 8.3 out of 10, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know if you'd give it a different rating. The new mixtape #INDICA 15-track mixtape set for October 4th. Once again, I'm Looper Norris. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. That's all I got for this one, man. More content, more music on the way. I'm Looper Norris, and yeah, I'm out, man. Peace.